Hey everybody, it's Mark, Five Angels Outdoor. What are we doing today? I don't know, looks like we're gonna do a brake install for the Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison. So I purchased a Powerstop Z36 upgrade. We have both ceramic pads and we also have the drilled and slotted rotors. So one of the things that I've noticed is that I'm going through brakes. I have a lot more weight. I don't tow, but it's like almost like I am towing because of the extra weight from you know, when I'm loaded up to camp or whatnot. So we're gonna do brakes. We'll walk you through it. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll do like one side, get a feel for it, and then I'll do the other side on camera. I'll do the front first, then we'll do the back, but we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Hope this goes well. Hope I don't get too pissed off or break things or throw things because I'm frustrated. Sometimes that happens. But yeah, we're looking forward to this and I'm looking really forward to the outcome. So like, subscribe to the channel and let's see how this brake job goes. First time for everything. Alrighty, we're gonna start off at the rear. As you see, we do have the lug nuts broken. I have jack stand. I have the truck up on jack stand. I have my floor jack under the differential just to be extra safe. So we'll get this wheel off and then go from there. All right, here's our old OEM rotor. We don't have that many miles on the truck, so it's not looking too bad. But we want to get these slotted, drilled Z36 rotors in preparation for our next pad change where we'll go with some ceramics. All right, first thing we'll do is we're going to remove the caliper, which will allow us to take care of and isolate the rotor in order to take it off. Alrighty, to get the caliper off, it's an 18mm socket onto the back. So there's two bolts back here that we're going to loosen. And then what we'll do is to not put tension on the brake line, we will zip tie the caliper so that way it'll hang. We won't put tension on the brake line. We don't want to cause any brake issues down the line. So I'll set this bolt over here so we don't lose it. I do have a couple zip ties ready, tied together. So I am going to pull out this bolt, pull the caliper up. I'm just going to thread this, and I think a good spot, we'll just hang it off the all right, now basically we want to do is loosen up this rotor, and basically there's a hex 30 here, a T30. So we got a T30 bolt here. We'll get it in there, and depending on how tight it is, this one wasn't too bad. So yeah, we will get it out, and you know, you can, once you get to this point, I'll just ratchet it out. If you could always put your T30 onto a screwdriver and you'd be fine. All right, once this bolt comes out, we'll put it over here so we won't lose it. Now we're free. So I do have a mallet. I'll give a couple taps just to make sure it's loose, and then we'll pull it off. So not too bad. This one's in decent shape. What we'll do is we'll gum through here. I have a wire brush. I don't use the parking brakes too much, so you know, the parking brake pads looking fine. Now, we do a lot of off-roading, so as you can see, there's really dust, mud. Not too bad here on this back one, which is great, but we'll clean some of this stuff out. I do have a shop vac that I'll use to do a little cleanup, but yeah, let me take a little wire brush. I am going to just clean some of this surface rust off this. Somebody in some stupid car making a little bit of noise over there. All right, I'll get the shop vac and clean out, suck out some of this dust, and then really we'll be ready. Alrighty, so now what I'll do is I've got it cleaned up. I'll do a little anti-seize on this surface here, just for future sake, and making sure that this rotor comes off nicely if ever needed. So I'll get that spread around. All right, I think that's spread around pretty good. So yeah, so what I've done is got the new rotor here. This is the new rear rotor. This is a Powerstop Z36, and I basically used some brake cleaner as instructed, cleaned off, and you just want to make sure we have a hole right here. So we have a hole right here for that nut, that stability nut, so we'll make sure we get that in the right spot. There we go. We'll get this started. And then let's get this tightened back up. Now we'll just have to get the brake caliper back on and installed, and then we'll be good to go. We're not doing the pads at this time, as I said earlier. We do have some life, especially on these rears. So we'll come back in a second video and do the brake pads. So I'm going to cut this down. All right. Yeah, I'm going to get this all, do a visual inspection. I mean, other than some mud or whatnot, I think everything's looking pretty good. So we'll get these back in here. Now for these, I see that these bolts did have a little bit of thread locker on there. So what I'll do prior to, I'll just tap them with a little bit of fresh thread locker before I get them started in there. So yeah, we'll get this top one going, just enough to hold it in there. All right. And on the bottom, get that going. Get them tightened. All right, now we did look it up, and these nuts should be, I think, about 81 foot-pounds. So I have my torque wrench. So we'll get these cranked up, see where they need to be. All right, there's that one. All right, there's that one. So basically that does the back. We'll get this wheel back on there, and then we'll move towards the front. All right, we're gonna do the front now. So we have the truck jacked up. I've loosened up the lug nuts, so same as the back. We'll pull the wheel off, get it all set, and then we'll do an inspection. All right, so same thing as the rear. What we're going to want to do, we're going to have to take the caliper off in order to get at the rotor. So we have these two larger bolts to deal with back here. Brake line gets in the way of this top one, which is annoying for the socket wrench, but it's just the way it goes. So as before, we're gonna get these loosened up, and then we'll hang the caliper with some zip ties so we don't put any stresses on the brake line. So we'll get that done here in a sec. Get this bottom bolt loose enough to come out. There we go. All right, we have this caliper loosened up. So as I said, we'll just hang it using these. And I think it's real convenient just to use the upper control arm for that purpose here. So that's what we will do. Use the old upper control arm to hang it. Obviously some hooks or something like that would be good. I'll inspect the brake pads a little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of meat on them still, but we definitely will be replacing pads in the near future, you know, really once these are here. So this is the same deal. We're in the front. We have this little T30 to loosen. All right, set this aside not to lose it. We'll grab our mallet. Give things a little whack. Loosen that right up. All right, another one off. Inspect it a little bit. Now the other side had a lot of mud and everything from our off-road travels. This one, this side, really not so much. This side compared to that other side was looking good. I mean, when I pulled the rotor off that other side, I mean, it had even had mud inside the rotor, caked all through here, closing off all the vents. So that was interesting itself. But yeah, let's get this cleaned up and get the new rotor back on. All right, so as before, I got out my brush, I cleaned everything up, all the surface rust and whatnot. I've added my anti-seize, and we're ready. So I'll grab the new rotor. As before, I've already cleaned it with brake cleaner, really good soaking, and wiped it down so that way it's to be clean. And there's my little peg here from my anchor bolt. So we will get that lined up and get this back in there. Let's start getting this stuff back together. Similar to basically the rear and opposite of what we did to get everything together. So Alright, good. So now we'll just have to cut down the brake caliper and get that rehung. And you know, if by chance, you know, I mean, obviously we're not doing the brake pads, but if by chance you had to compress the caliper, you could easily take care of that as needed. Alrighty, now that we've gotten those threads back in there, we'll just gonna use a normal wrench to get them all tight, and then I'll, like I said, like I did the last time, I'll finish it off with the torque wrench to make sure that we get them torqued to spec. Nice and tight as they should be. All right, let's grab the torque wrench. Set it for tight. All right. All right. Bottom one's tight. All right, top one's tight. All right, so there we are. Front rotor is on. And as I said, we'll get the brakes at a different time, and we'll record that as well. But basically just gonna get this tire back on here, and then torque all the bolts down, and we'll go from there. All right, so we were able to get the truck all together. As you saw, it really wasn't that difficult to really install the rotors. I mean, it was just really removing the calipers was the toughest part. Make sure everything gets torqued back in. Really just had that one set screw to keep them in there. Just disappointed that we couldn't do the job the full way. You know, the kit had the rotors and the pads, and having the wrong pads in the kit is a little frustrating. So I couldn't finish that off. So I do have the correct pads on order, so we will finish the job by doing the pads. The current ones aren't disasters. It was more of the full upgrade, doing it all at once that I was looking for. But I can't wait to get those pads installed, get it all tested out, validate it, verify it in regards to how it performs versus OEM, especially with the weight of the truck and the off-roading that we're doing. But outside of that, thanks for watching us do what we thought was a rotor and pad install from Powerstop Brakes Z36 tow kit to ended up this video just being rotors. So thanks for watching. Look for the follow-up video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your watching, and just keep coming back for more. Thank you. We'll see you.